Hello, everyone. Welcome to our summer town hall for our members at Harvard Federal Credit Union. My name is Jen Fries. I'm Community Engagement Manager here at the credit union. For today's town hall, this is the same format if you've been to one before that we always do. We are going to be answering questions that we've received from members, mostly questions that we've received ahead of time. However, if you would like to ask a question today during the webinar, that's fine. We will answer as many as we can. And we're going to use the Q&A feature of Zoom. If you go to your toolbar where you have your mute functions and things like that, you might need to go into on the far right, there are 3 buttons. You might need to go in there to the more to get to Q&A, and then you could drop a question in there at any time. We're going to save them all to answer at the end. You are all muted. We can't see you, we can't hear you, so don't worry. You can, if you're here during your lunch hour or whatnot, go ahead and eat your lunch. There's no, it is webinar format, so we are not seeing any of the participants. But you can participate by doing that Q&A function. We certainly welcome that. This webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, which is at Harvard FCU. That's where we are on all the socials. So look for us and follow us for kind of regular financial updates as well. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our president and CEO. Craig Leonard is going to be bringing us up to date on the credit union's financials and that kind of thing, and then just answering your questions. So thank you, Craig, and take it away.
Thanks, Jen. I noticed that picture we need to update. I had more hair up top when that picture was originally taken, and I don't know if that comes with the job or what. So
I think that's true.
I know, right? No, thanks, Jen, for hosting us as always. You do such a wonderful job, and thanks everyone who's on this call today. We're here to answer the questions that you've submitted, and so let's kick it off on how the institution is doing. I can't believe we're through July with our financials. We're having a better year in 2025 from an earnings standpoint than that of 2024. I think just kind of generally overview of what I see from our members, from a lending standpoint. Lending is slow. It's been slow all year, and no surprise to anyone. Mortgage rates continue to be inflated. There's no real opportunities to refinance existing mortgages just because of those higher interest rates. There is a lot of pressure on the Federal Reserve to decrease short-term rates. We're not sure yet what that will mean for long-term rates, and long-term rates is how we kind of price our mortgage products. We have seen mortgage rates starting to come down a little bit, so I'm hoping there's some more opportunities that if you're a buyer in the market, things get a little bit more affordable out there. So affordability is certainly an issue. Overall, our members are continuing to spend at similar levels than that of 2024. We did see a little bit of a tick down over the last couple of months in credit card spend. So we'll watch that. Not sure if members are starting to pull back a little bit. It's still early to see what the impacts are going to be around these new tariffs that just kind of went into effect this week. We probably won't see that for some time to kind of go into the economy and its impact on our members for until the next few months, but we'll be watchful of that. And on the deposit side, we're continuing to see a lot of members take advantage of our certificates of deposit. We continue to price those aggressively. For those members that are looking to put money to work, and as I mentioned, we are likely to see short-term rates come down. If you're thinking about investing in CDs, now is the time, because I think, after September, we'll see more pressure on those rates to come down. So I wouldn't wait that much longer if you're on the sidelines, I guess. And so that's just kind of a quick overview of where we are financially.
Yeah, I know I've taken advantage of the CD rates.
Yeah,
at the beginning.
of the CDs that we have, we see most members going into our longer term 15-month product. We have our 11-month, 15-month product equally priced, but members are really flocking to the 15-month as opposed to the 11. So they're stretching out a little longer, which I honestly think if liquidity is not an issue, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for that overview, Craig. Are we ready to move into the member questions?
We are.
Would Harvard FCU ever consider setting up each member with a personal financial advisor?
I'm going to answer this in two ways. I think if you're looking to do what I'm going to say is more traditional banking, you want to come in and you want to talk about setting up a CD or maybe um, laddering your CDs, which a lot of our members do, then I think coming and talking to any of our branch managers or our member service representatives are fantastic. We don't assign them to members per se. I think that allows you to come in at your leisure. All of our branch managers and all of our staff are equally trained to help you in that regard. I think if you want to go to the next step, and Jen, I think you have a slide on this one, and talk more about investing. If you're thinking about creating maybe a longer term plan and saying, you know what, I would like to buy that home in 5 years. What's the best strategy for me to get there? Or I want to think about how's the best way to fund for my kids' um, college in the next decade or whatever the case might be, or I'm concerned about retirement, then we have an investment advisor. Dennis's information is there, and we have one investment advisor that caters to our entire membership at this point. At some point, we would like to add a secondary advisor because I think the size of our membership certainly warrants that. So we are looking. Dennis has years and years of experience. And one of the strong things about Dennis's background that I think is of interest to those, particularly who work at Harvard, is Dennis comes from a background working with TIAA, which is where Harvard's retirement is. So if you have your investments with Harvard and you just want to say, I really just need someone to take a look at this, Dennis will do that for you. Am I on the right path? And maybe Dennis can give some hints on how you might want to change your current settings. But make an appointment with Dennis. It doesn't cost any money. He's a service that we offer free to all of our members. And I think I think everyone needs a plan. And so Dennis is here to do that for you.
Yeah, and so the link is up there if you want to make an appointment. Probably the easiest way is just to go to our website and go to invest, and then you'll find a place where you can just go ahead and make your appointment. Of course, you can always email Dennis if you want to do that as a first step. But those appointments can be virtual for folks or in person. And yeah, I think that's all great advice, Craig. And I will mention that as you mentioned earlier, if you're not investing, but you're just doing CDs, the support staff were really helpful to me in setting up a laddering for my CDs. And that's when you have like a shorter term, like a 6-month, a 12-month, a 15-month, or whatever it may be, so that money is coming mature and is available to you in liquid form, periodically. So that's really helpful and a nice strategy for those of us who want to, enjoy the higher returns of a CD, but maybe don't want to lock up everything for 15 months. Yeah.
The last thing I would say about our investment program is we've created this so you don't have to think, oh, you know what, I don't have a ton of money, so maybe it's not appropriate for me to talk to Dennis. Don't think like that. We've created a program where this is meant for people who are novice investors all the way to those who are advanced investors, those who are just starting out, and those are more kind of later stages. So this is a program that was not created for just the affluent. That's not who we're about. And then we didn't want to create a program that ostracized any type of member segment that we have.
Yeah, I think that's great, and, I know Dennis is so personable and just ready to help, even just second opinions for
That's
people
right.
or just or full consults, whatever, the member needs.
Yeah,
So, I definitely encourage people on this call, to take advantage of it because it's a great benefit that we have.
it really is.
Yeah, okay. Um, then we had a question about when will the credit union have information available digitally, like our CD notices and year-end tax info?
I'm really happy to I love that someone asked me this question, because it just went live this past month.
Okay.
And this has been driving me crazy because I'm a member as well. You
Yeah,
know, it's
same.
been driving me crazy for years that we could not get information loaded on through our online banking, in particular like year-end tax notices, right? We get so many members calling us saying, "I need a copy of my 1099." And it's just a process. So now we're at a stage that we can have our statements as well as these important notices be sent to your online banking digitally. And so now it's much easier for you to keep that record. You don't have to fumble with things coming in the mail anymore, and setting up a file cabinet or whatever you might do at home. Much easier, much more efficient. When you go into online banking, I believe it's you go into under accounts. If you go into kind of, I think it's maybe statements or notices, you'll see them all there. And when any type of notice or statement gets loaded into your online banking, you should read it. You should receive an email notification prior to that, just saying something just loaded. So
Yeah, I know I
really,
got
really
one.
happy on this one.
Yes. I think we're all really pleased about that. Thank you, Craig. And then another member wanted us to kind of compare what's the financial strength of Harvard FCU compared to the big banks.
Yeah, it's hard for us to compare ourselves to the big banks. It really is night and day on um, their structure versus our structure. But I'll talk more about our own individual strength. There's a couple ways that a bank regulator comes in and examines us. The primary metric that they use is what's called our capital ratio, and they use that for banks as well. Think about it in your own terms as your net worth. What is the level of net worth that you have as an individual? It's kind of like what they look at us uh, as a bank, and it's really meant to ensure that there is a level of protection that if there's any type of pressure within the economy, that that institution can absorb it and continue on, that there's no risk. And so they come in for our institution, they come in on an annual basis, ensure that we're operating in a safe and sound manner, that the level of capital that we have is um, is appropriate for the level of risk that we take within our balance sheet. And so we have our capital ratio, which is approaching 9%, which is considered well capitalized by regulatory standards. And so we always have received a very strong rating in terms of our overall financial strength. The other thing that they look at is what our earnings stream is. Our earnings are better this year than they were last year. We last year was kind of a lower earnings year for the institution as we had to kind of work through back in 2022 when interest rates accelerated dramatically. We that was hard for our balance sheet to absorb. We have since done that. Earnings are projected to go higher, and so that's also really positive. So overall, the financial strength of the institution is very strong by all capital measurements. And we do have a very, I'm going to say, a low risk profile when you look at the overall balance sheet of the institution.
Mm, yeah, that's great to hear. And I know reassuring to all of us who are members. Okay. Sort of on that same risk analysis angle, how might the financial attack on the university impact the credit union?
Yeah, those working at the university, as well as those who attend the university, make up the bulk of our membership. And so what's happening now with these federal funding cuts that are happening, um, is really putting pressure on the university. And the university has certainly announced different measurements in response. Some of those are hiring freezes, some of those are salary freezes, and unfortunately, some of those will be layoffs. Some of those people that will be impacted from that regard are in fact our members. So we're unsure at this point what level of impact that may be. We're watching carefully our delinquency rates because that's where we'll see it first. If there's pressure on members, if it becomes harder for them to pay back their auto loan or their credit card or their mortgage. What I have said to our entire organization is to be aware of this. Let's make sure that we're um, working diligently to provide help to anyone who reaches out to us. So at this point, I can't tell you the level of impact to our organization, but I think there will be some. We're also responding this year already by increasing what's called our provision for loan losses. So we have been setting more funds aside in our balance sheet, in our income statement, understanding that there probably will be some impact to us, and we're preparing for that financially.
Yeah, okay, that's great to know. I do want to mention that a little bit later in this slide deck, we will provide a resource if anyone on this call is themselves struggling, facing a layoff or any kind of situation like that. We do have a wonderful nonprofit partner, Green Path, and there's a place where we are going to give you that information in case you want free financial counseling or other help. So we'll talk about that in a bit. Okay. Then we have a question, which I have heard from other members. Can you consider covering foreign transaction fees as another credit card benefit?
This is one that I'll have to explore. I haven't heard a lot of members reaching out to us about this. When we've established our own credit cards, we went through all the creation of its features and its benefits. It's the interest rates that we charge, and we felt that we put together a really competitive product in the marketplace.
Yeah,
But we can go back and get a sense from our membership how many are actually incurring foreign transaction fees. So I guess I'll commit to who put this. I'll look at it further. I would say too that if the person who wrote this and for any and any others who may have attended Harvard and an alumni of Harvard, we are actually the issuer of the Harvard alumni card, which is a separate site altogether in association with the Harvard Alumni Association. That card does not have any foreign transaction fees.
okay.
So if you are a Harvard alumni and our proprietary cards that we have on our website don't have that foreign transaction fee that you're looking for, the Harvard alumni card that you may be eligible for actually does.
That's a great tip. I know, yeah, it's often a balance of, what a card can offer versus
Right.
interest rates and things like that. And I know I have 3 credit cards, and my Harvard FCU card is by far the lowest interest rate card.
Yeah.
But there are probably other things that you can get from that Harvard alumni card that will be good for some people.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Then we got the question, just why are you moving your Brookline Avenue location and when will it happen?
Yeah, we love our Brookline Avenue location. Phenomenal. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's right within the medical community. It's next to the Joslin Diabetes Center. And that's the key part right there is for those who are knowledgeable what's going on in that part of the city, the Joslin's Diabetes Center which our branch location is attached to that structure, is going to be demolished, and a new Dana-Farber Cancer Center is going to be constructed in its place. They're moving ahead with that plan. The landlord has approached us and told us that we would have to actually vacate because of that construction project. And so we were on the lookout for another secondary location. We're going to have this location open through the middle of October of this year, and we'll continue to notify those members who visit that branch that we will have another one in its close proximity, actually opening next week.
Yeah. Yeah, so later we'll give you the information about the new branch opening next Tuesday. So they'll overlap for some time. But by October, the Brookline Ave will be closed.
So disappointed that we're leaving that location, but certainly we love what's coming in our place.
Yeah, yeah. I think, it's good and bad news. And for Boston, the good news is you're getting a new cancer treatment hospital, and
Right.
that's worth it. So, okay, so
There you go.
now we have a question about that new branch. And are there any kind of incentives or promotions for new members or
Yes.
referral bonuses if existing members refer people that are related to the new branch? Do we have any like specials?
We do. So we're so excited to open our new branch, which is going to be at 1 Brigham Circle in Boston. So really on the other side of the medical community. When we were at Brookline Ave, we always knew that the medical community could, that we felt we could have 2 locations to really service that community. That was the word I was looking for, service that community. And so we recently, as we were notified that we had to close the Brookline Avenue location, we went to High Gear. We found this location, which is just wonderful. It allows us to continue to serve the medical community, but it also allows us to serve this wonderful Mission Hill community as well. And so we're so thrilled to do so. And that branch will be opening next Tuesday to drive business. We are incentivizing our members, both existing and new, to come into this location. And so I know on our website, and Jen, maybe we can put on our site where those different incentives are located. But if you open a new membership, and there's some criteria around that. There's a cash award of $100. We're offering a special, we talked about CDs earlier. We're offering a very attractive 9-month CD at 4.5%, which is really high in the marketplace. And again, if you're thinking that interest rates are going to go down in September, this is a phenomenal deal to put money to work and lock it in before rates do. We have incentives around opening a credit card. But the other really thing that's cool is we want you to refer your friends to this branch, and we'll pay you for doing so. So every referral that you send that's qualified, we'll pay you $100 for it. There's no cap. So if you want to create a secondary job and refer all your friends and relatives to us, we would love for you to do it. So we're really excited for this location. We want you to spread the word for us, and we'll help pay you in doing so.
Yeah, we're going to also have some really just fun giveaways there. So we would love for people to come and see the new branch and, grab some swag, Harvard
Right.
FC swag, or, that kind of thing. So hoping to see many of you there in person, and we're going to give that information toward the end. I did put into the chat the link, which is it's on our homepage. If you scroll down on our homepage, it says, new branch at Longwood Medical Area, but I also put the direct link into the chat if anybody wants to read all the terms and conditions on the promos, so that you can make sure that you take advantage of those. Let's see. Okay, and then we got a question, what's the story with the new groups of people who are eligible by geography? What's that about, Craig?
Okay, so I think it's been a little bit over a year now since we changed our charter. We were a state chartered credit union for most of the Creighton's 85-year history. A year or so ago, we made the strategic decision to change our charter from state to federal. With that, we rebranded ourselves with our new name. But as we went through that process, we had the opportunity to think about eligibility. We know that we offer a great value proposition to the Harvard community and all the teaching hospitals that are associated with that community. And we wanted to extend that further. We had the opportunity to extend it further. So when we went through this process, the NCUA, which is our chief regulator, allowed us to incorporate a fairly significant amount of census tracts, which would be this new geography. So, Jen put that keyword in there, eligible. And so the NCUA allowed to say, hey, Harvard, if people living within these census tracts want to become your members, that's great. There's no issues whatsoever. And so if you go onto our website and you're curious, if you reside within that geography, if you go under, I want to become a member, there's a place where you can just put in your address and that'll let you know if you qualify or not. And it's not just your home residence. It could be where you work or worship or go to school. And so those all qualify under that eligible geography component to membership.
Yeah, I think it's a great new expansion, especially when you think about that these census tracts are chosen by, they're underserved by
Yes, that's right.
banks. So I did put the tool into the chat. If somebody wants to check if like friends or family, I mean, your family can join just actually based on you being a member, but
Yes,
if friends or neighbors, if you're wondering if they might be eligible, you can search for, where someone lives, where they work, where they worship, or where they go to school, and see if they might be eligible that way. So that's another great way to expand the membership. So,
right.
okay.
Great point, Jen.
Um, Okay, so then we got a question from a member. If I'm starting to struggle with my loan payments, what should I do?
Yeah,
This
and
is a little bit condensed from what the actual question was, but
Jen's gonna put up a resource after right on the next page for this. The first thing you should do is contact us. Let us know. We're here to help. We want to help you get through this. We understand that, it's a challenging environment over there. And particularly, we talked earlier about some of the financial pressures that have been put onto the university and how the university has to respond, and some of those employees and staff who are going to be impacted from making really tough decisions. And so if you're struggling for whatever reason on your loan payment, the first thing to do is reach out to us because we are here to help. We have a valuable resource. And Jen, I think you have the next page on GreenPath. We've partnered with this nonprofit group. Jen is more the expert than I am on this. So Jen, maybe you can just give a brief overview of all the offerings of what we have.
sure. So every member of the credit union is eligible to receive free financial counseling from GreenPath. As Craig mentioned, they are a nonprofit, so they're not a predatory kind of organization, or there are a lot of not great organizations out there, and GreenPath is really wonderful. They can help you make your budget. Maybe you need to revise a budget based on a different employment situation, or maybe you want to pay down debt and you want to make a plan for that. They also are certified credit counselors. They can negotiate with your creditors about lowering your fees if need be. They are certified student loan counselors and HUD certified housing counselors. So they're available in more than one language. There are many languages that they serve, and they have extended business hours as well. So GreenPath is just a wonderful resource. If at any point you're, oh, I might want to buy a house in a few years, but I really want to see if I'm saving the right amount, or, need a new budget, because I'm living in a new city or something like that, Green Path is here for you, and I recommend them very highly. They have great, you know, great counselors and very dedicated to the mission of just helping people build their financial wellness.
And it's another service we offer free to our membership.
Yes, and it is free. Um, okay, so then we had the question, will you open more branches in the future?
Yeah, this is a question that we get from time to time. And prior to us changing our charter, we always said no. We weren't likely to open additional branches. Now that we've altered our charter, we can think of this differently. And if we go back to that question about eligible geography, now we have a more um, uh, we have better information. We can serve a larger population when we look at that eligible geography map, if you will. So we will look at placing branches into the future. They make more sense to us now than they did previously. It doesn't mean that we won't continue to deepen our digital investments, but people do still like branches. You know, there was this thought for years and years within the banking industry that all branches would just go away. And that just has not been the case. And so I do think branches will be in our future. I don't have one to tell you where the next one's going to be. Well, the next one's going to be next week. But after that, we don't have one yet determined. But I do think we will expand our branch footprint in the years ahead.
Right. Then we got the question, where are you with business banking services?
And we started to roll that out very slowly this year. It's a new service that we're offering, and we wanted to make sure that we had a good, strong offering for the business community. Right now, we're really still kind of concentrated on the business banking services on the deposit and cash management side. We're soon to be offering more on the lending side over the next coming months. We do have some really aggressively priced deposit products for business owners, particularly around money market accounts and business certificates. You won't find rates as high as ours, in particular for money market accounts. So if you're a small business and you have excess cash and you're looking to get a better return on it, I really would look at our offering from this standpoint. We want to earn your business. It's important to us. We feel that the business community is a real growth opportunity for a credit union. We haven't gone into that sector prior to this year. And so we're eager to earn your business.
Thank you, Craig. Let's see. Any update on Fed Now or RTP? Is it on your roadmap?
Yeah, and for a lot of people on the call, they're saying, I have no clue what FedNow or RTP is. I don't blame you. So FedNow is a new service that the Federal Reserve is putting out. Most of your payments flow through the Federal Reserve System. Okay, when you get paid, your ACH, everything flows in there. Call it the hub. All of the banks kind of go into the Fed, and that's how we kind of change payments from one institution to the next institution. RTP is a new service that just stands request to pay. And really where they're going with this is instant payments. The Fed is pushing institutions into instant pay. And the other benefit of this, as they move in this direction, is that payments can also be made 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. There are no holidays. So as an example, let's say there was an emergency on a Sunday afternoon and Jen needed money and I needed to send her money. I could go into our online banking and send it to her within 7 seconds and she would have it. Today, you can't do that today in most systems. You'd have to wait till Monday and maybe even then there'll be a delay. And so that's where the system is moving. It is on our roadmap for 2026. We're working with our partners to get it implemented. There are a number of institutions that are live on FedNow currently, and the Fed is hoping that over time they'll get all institutions within this new network. So I would say in 2026 we'll have it available for our members.
Okay, great. And then we just have some upcoming initiatives. We've already hinted heavily at the first thing that I think we just want to, or our big news is the new branch. So other than what's already been covered, and I did see someone ask a question, will there be parking at the new branch? And we answered that in the written questions, but just to say it out loud, yes, we're so excited that we will have 30-minute or 90-minute parking, depending on what your needs are for banking. But pay attention to the signs.
Parking's awfully hard in the city, and so that is one of the key benefits of this location is yes, we do have parking available.
Yeah. So opening day is Tuesday, August 12th. Please stop in. As we said, we'll have some free giveaways and some events happening. We're actually doing a ribbon cutting at 9 a.m. if people want to come for that. But, you know, stop in, see. A lot of the staff are going to be familiar to you if you currently bank at the Longwood branch. But we'll be excited to see you in the new location, folks on this call. Anything else you want to say about that, Craig?
Other than really excited about this new opportunity to serve this new community and to serve our existing membership. So it's great. The other thing that I would say from an initiative standpoint, we launched it earlier this year, and I want to give another kind of plug to this online service, which is called Savvy Money. And so if you're on our system, it is phenomenal. It is free for those who want to get more updated. It'll present your credit score on a much more regular cadence. It'll show your report. It'll give you a scorecard on what's impacting your credit score. You know, we're in a world that credit score means a lot to you. It comes down to hard dollars on how financial institutions price their loans. It's based upon that score largely, or that's one factor. And so ensuring that you're knowledgeable about it and what's impacting it and how you have control over it is really important. So if you haven't signed up for it, I really recommend that you do and check it out.
Yeah, I love my Savvy Money on my online
Yeah,
banking.
it's great.
And we also, if you look at our YouTube channel, which is at Harvard FCU, we do have a recent webinar. We started the series of short Financial Fitness Fridays with just really 30-minute kind of informational webinars. And we have one on Savvy Money. It just walks you through how to sign up, you know, the fact that it's free, and how to, you know, access and use the tool, and great information there. Before we get off the new branch, and I think you mentioned all the promos, but I'm not sure, did you mention the $100 credit card promo?
I did very quickly, but
okay. So yeah, I must have missed that, but I just want to make sure people know too, if you open a new credit card in the branch, at the new branch, that you get a potential $100 credit on your credit card, and there's certain restrictions or requirements. Those are all in the thing that I put into the news posting that we put on the chat. So you could take a look at those if you're thinking about, you know, don't open a credit card for no reason, but if you're thinking you need a credit card anyway, this is a great time to do it. So I encourage our members to check that out as well. We do have a couple of webinars coming up for all members. We have one coming up on September 11th about building credit from scratch. And we will send out or put the registration link in the chat for people to, if you are new to the country or maybe a younger person, you're starting out on credit, this would be a really good workshop for you to learn about that, or if you have a college student who might like that information. I'm going to put the registration link into the chat here, but you also should be getting emails about these webinars as well. And then we have another one of those short webinars, a part of our upcoming Financial Fitness Fridays. So the idea of these, as you can see, it's a little light dumbbell, and the idea is it's a light lift, a little something to improve your finances. So this is a quick half-hour webinar that covers the elements of financial wellness. If you are a person that feels like your family never talked to you about what money, like what to do about money, how to build wealth over time, and how to have good money habits, this is a great first step for that. And we definitely encourage people to join us for that as well. And again, I will put the registration link into the chat. I think that is all. I do not see any other open questions. But you can always reach us at support@harvardfcu.org. We are Harvard FCU on all the social channels, so we encourage you to find us and follow us there. And always feel free to ask us questions at the support center. We're here for you. Anything else you'd like to say, Craig?
I thank you for everyone in the call for their membership, and I always give out my email address.
Okay.
So as members, if you have questions, if you want to let me know personally how we're doing, how we can do better, my email address has changed since we've recently, so it's now cleonard@harvardfcu.org. I'd love to hear from you. Tell me what we can do better as an organization, and if we're doing something great, I would love to hear that too. So
Yeah.
if you need me, reach out to me, please.
Okay. And all of these slides will be sent to you from having registered for the webinar, so don't worry about that. You will get them. And I think that's it for today. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you everyone for taking the time to join us.